Hey guys, it's Prince Rich with Rich Technology Group, and today's video is simply titled, Is Vonage Business Voice over IP Phone Service Good or Bad? So, for those of you who have been to my channel, you are no stranger to the fact that I love me some Vonage Business, even though I sell contracts daily for many other carriers that are direct competitors for Vonage Business. Vonage Business tends to be one of our top go-tos for people that contact us that need a typical phone system at a good price without the gimmicks or without any super duper advanced features or anything like that. They're one of the better all-arounders that we work with and that we have seen in the industry. And one of the most common questions that I get asked, not only in the comments on videos, but also when I have people on the phone is, hey Prince, I know that you like Vonage. I know that you mentioned in videos that you've used Vonage for your company for umpteen years. But level with me here. Is Vonage Business really good or is it bad? What's your honest take on it? So I wanted to do a video today to just kind of break it down and we're going to pretend that I'm not a Vonage Business customer in this video. We're going to pretend that I don't sell a lot of Vonage Business on some days. And I'm going to just give you guys the raw breakdown of the pros and cons of Vonage, the good and bad. So let's jump right into this. So, let me see here, get to my notes. Okay, so number one of the things that's nice about Vonage, let's talk pre-sales here. When people contact me, they, especially currently right now with current events that are going on in the world, which we will not mention in this video. If you watch the news, you know what I'm talking about. Right now, voice over IP is one of the hottest things out there. People are needing it to combat with social distancing, to combat with being able to empower their staff to work from home, so on and so forth. So right now, when I get calls from most people, it's, hey Prince, I need a quote like yesterday. Basically, whenever I send off a request to Vonage Business for a quote for the folks that I work with, I usually get the quote back. I always tell people I'll have the quote back within 24 hours, but usually it's within 1 to 2 hours. I can tell you guys straight up from all of the carriers that I work with, Vonage Business has the fastest quoting process. Even when applying my special pricing and requested promotions for the people that I work with, they get quotes faster than any other basically provider that I work with in the industry. Sometimes it's within an hour, sometimes it's within 2 hours. Usually I get any quote that I send off to the provider back within less than 3 hours. So one of the fastest sales processes. The other thing is usually when I send a quote to a client, I'll also CC one or more of the reps that I know personally at Vonage on the email. That way, if the client has any questions about the product, service, features, pricing, or what the onboarding process or moving forward looks like that I can't answer, I've got somebody right there on the email with Vonage Business that can answer anything that I can't shed light on or that I need to have them answer so that I don't give out any misinformation. Response time, even with those guys, is really fast, like within minutes or within the hour. Whereas with some carriers, sometimes I may not get a response for like days or for like, hours upon hours or something. So very fast and very prompt and responsive sales process with Vonage Business. That's one thing that we really like about them and that you as the potential buyer may like with them as well. Number two, one of the things that's really nice about Vonage Business is, and at the time of this video, and I tell people this on the phone almost daily when they ask me for a straight up comparison of Vonage and other carriers, Vonage at the time of this video and for the past years that I've worked with them has some of the most aggressive pricing on the market of like caliber. Now, I want to elaborate here because I like to say most aggressive pricing on the market currently in comparison to other competitors of like caliber, i.e. not Grasshopper, i.e. not Call Hippo, i.e. not Mighty Call, or some of these other super duper cheap services that I see all the time that overpromise and underdeliver. While they may be okay for what somebody needs and their pricing might be really attractive, they are not in the same class as a Vonage Business. They are a very different animal in the features and capability that they offer and where their features and capability and advancements and ability to be able to scale as you grow stops. So for carriers of like caliber that you guys hear me talk about on my channel all the time, i.e. Nextiva, i.e. Ring Central, i.e. OnSip, i.e. 8x8, i.e. What's another good one of like caliber? Star to Star. These small few of carriers that I've just mentioned are in the same caliber as Vonage Business, meaning have similar, annual revenue, have similar features and function and platform, and have pretty decent side-by-side comparison if you see them in a chart. When it comes to carriers of like caliber, Vonage, at the time of this video, no question, has the most aggressive pricing on the market. So, if you're looking for a well-rounded carrier that has the ability to scale with your business, but also has really aggressive pricing, because let's be real, at the end of the day, for all of us out here, I'm a small business, you're a small business, or a mid-sized to larger business watching this video, while the feature and function is important, let's be real, at the end of the day, the bottom line is also important. Best pricing out there of like caliber at the time of this video. Point number 3, number porting. This is one of the things that I get asked a lot, and I'm going to speak freely and be honest on this one. Number porting with Vonage Business is usually pretty seamless. They have an internal porting department that will request information from you that they need to port your number or numbers. This can be main numbers, like regular area code, whatever, 10-digit numbers, toll-free numbers, fax numbers. You can port from anything with Vonage Business. I've had people port from home numbers, mobile numbers, Google Voice numbers, you name it. Porting is usually pretty seamless, but sometimes porting can run into complications. Now, I want to be clear. I have never, ever seen anybody lose their phone number with Vonage Business, or any carrier for that matter. You guys, I'm being honest with you. I've literally got hundreds and hundreds of accounts. I've got accounts in all 50 states. I've even got a small handful of international accounts. I have personally never seen anyone lose their number with any carrier during the porting process. But I will say, while I won't go as far as saying that Vonage Business's porting process is rocky, sometimes when you run into issues, the way that they resolve it, as in, what's the nicest way to put this? Making you have to deal with your carrier to resolve the issue versus them wanting to kind of lend a bit more of a helping hand to kind of get involved and really get the port pushed forward in a prompt manner and get it done. It could be better. The customer service in that regard could be better. So I want to end this point by saying their porting is usually pretty seamless, but every now and again, you might run into a hitch that delays your port a little bit, or causes you to have to reach out to your carrier to supply more information, or reach out to Vonage to get them more information. I just personally wish that Vonage would do a little bit better job at giving the client a little bit more red carpet service during the porting process. Because let's be real, most of us, even me, don't know all of the nuances of porting, and we don't have time to deal with it anyways. So that's my only complaint there, is I feel like their porting process could be a little smoother when problems arise, which is rare, but sometimes occasional. So hopefully that clears that up. Let's see here. Point number 4. One of the things that I get asked a lot when people contact me looking for a new phone system is they don't want to have to rely on having to pick up the phone and contact their voice over IP service provider for every little stupid thing. Oh, I need to set a vacation message because, I'm going on vacation. Oh, how do I change the virtual receptionist options? How do I change the virtual receptionist because of inclement weather, or because of COVID-19 or coronavirus, stipulations or state sanctions or whatever? Most people, even me, don't want to be bothered with having to pick up the phone and call a 1-800-VONAGE or 1-800 whoever your carrier is to be able to make little changes. We only want to contact the carrier to make advanced changes. If you're that person and you want to be able to, regardless of your level of tech savviness, you want to be able to make, small to major and sometimes serious intermediate or advanced changes to your phone system, Vonage is the one. I sit on demos all day long, you guys, with multiple carriers for people to help guide them through the process of picking the right phone system. I can honestly tell you that Vonage Business has one of the most user-friendly portals out there. So if you're looking for a phone system that has a super duper user-friendly interface where you can make basic to advanced changes on your own without having to call the service provider to get them to do it for you or guide you through it, Vonage Business is the one. Let's see here. Point number 5. The onboarding process with Vonage Business is super easy and super seamless. They are also one of the few carriers that 9 times out of 10 will completely waive the implementation fees for new accounts. I've seen them waive implementation and installation fees for accounts as small as 1 extension to accounts even as high as 198 to 200 extensions or more. So if you don't want a really high upfront cost or anything like that, Vonage is the one. They typically don't have any implementation fees unless you're looking at their call center platform stuff, which is a whole nother ballgame, and I would highly recommend that you pay the implementation fees for their call center management software or virtual contact center licensing, because that's some very advanced stuff, and even me personally, I wouldn't want to do that myself. Not only do I not have the time to install and configure that myself, I don't have the expertise to install and configure virtual contact center or call center voice over IP stuff on my own. You want the engineers and the top dogs to be involved in that, so it's money well spent. Let's see here. Customer care. We're going to really get on this one, you guys. Now, there are 2 sides to Vonage Business's tech support. There is an American-based tech support, which is for dealers only, which you get basically unlimited access to if you go through somebody like me as a dealer. And that's all American-based support, mostly home-based out of, I believe, Homedale, New Jersey and Atlanta, Georgia. They're all Americans, you know, native English-speaking American citizens, all that stuff. But then they have another support that is outsourced that we call customer care. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I personally don't care much for customer care. I personally even can't stand calling them when I have to call them. I'm not saying that their customer care is bad. It's just that sometimes you get somebody who they're clearly reading from a script, or they just don't have all the answers that you need for some of the intermediate to more advanced needs and things like that. So I'm going to be honest with you guys. Vonage has 2 levels of customer support. They've got their American-based side, and then they've got their outsourced side. The outsourced side could use improvements. Some of the complaints that I get is long hold times. The other complaints that I get sometimes is I could hardly understand what the person was saying on the phone. And then the other complaint that I get, not really occasionally, but kind of rarely, is that person couldn't give me the answers that I needed, and it seemed like he or she was reading from a script. I'm just being a straight shooter, you guys. I wanted to give it to you real in this video. You guys know I love me some Vonage Business. We've been using Vonage Business for 15 years. Well, I've had Vonage Business since before it was even called Vonage Business, back when it was called Vocalocity. But I just want to be straight up and honest in this video for those of you that really want to know, is Vonage good or bad, or what can you expect? Customer care could be better. If you're working with somebody like me, which I recommend you call me first if you need Vonage Business so I can hook you up, you would never have to theoretically deal with that customer care for technical support issues, because I have a higher level support that is US based only that I can forward you off to that will definitely take care of whatever you need. But for basic things like, oh, I need to add new phones, I need to add a couple numbers, I need somebody to train like a couple new employees on the system that we just bought on or something, that unfortunately you're going to have to go through customer care. I want to be clear, they're not bad, but customer care at Vonage could use some improvements, is the best way that I'd like to put it. Is as nice as I can put it there. And let me focus in here a little bit on myself. So that's my thinking there. So one of the things that I recommend you do for customer care is you have a list of what you need to get covered. And you just ask that person point blank when you get them, can you help me with these things, yay or nay? And if they say no, ask them politely if they can get you somebody else, and just kind of cut, your time is valuable, their time is valuable. Let's see here. I already covered hold times. Sometimes the hold times can be kind of long with Vonage's customer care. Now, with their tech support for like high-level advanced issues, hold times are almost non-existent. But for things like that aren't like mission critical, like, oh, I need to make a quick change setting in my system. Your system isn't having issues or you're running into problems with your phones. For regular customer care stuff, regular, changes and stuff like that, you might run into some hold times. I've heard people say as high as 15 minutes. I've heard some people say as high as 45 minutes. Here's some things that I recommend you do to get around the hold times with Vonage Business. Call early in the morning. Usually if you call early in the morning, the hold times are non-existent. Call early in the evening. Most people cut out early for the evening, especially on Fridays or something like that. And most people they've kind of winded down for the day and they're kind of just picking around in the office on Facebook or Twitter or whatever it may be. So hold times tend to be lower in the evening between, say, 3 and 5 p.m. Eastern time or something like that. For early mornings, I would go something like maybe 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. You could probably get a better non-existent hold or something like that, or somebody to answer the phone almost immediately. So those are the two things I recommend for getting around the hold times. Call early in the morning, call later in the evening to early evening. My point number 3 is call me. If you're somebody that did your Vonage Business account or quoting process through me, you don't have to call anybody if you have problems or need anything at Vonage. You can call me and I can coordinate getting whoever you need at Vonage for you. Kind of, be your liaison between Vonage and your business. So call me if you worked the account through me originally. If you're watching this and you already have Vonage and you didn't get it through me, or you went direct with Vonage and I didn't work with you on this, unfortunately, your only option is going to be to call customer care or call their tech support. So one of the many perks you get by working with me versus going direct to the carrier initially. Let's see here. Point number 8, and it's the final point. Vonage Business is one of the last few carriers that I know of that truly will give you free phones with new accounts. You guys know that on my channel in the earlier days, we used to do videos about free phones this, free phones that from all these carriers. Tons of carriers were doing free phones for people that needed phones. The truth is, most of them have stopped, and there's only like 2 or 3 that I can name that actually still offer free phones. Truly free, at no extra charge, other than just your normal monthly bill, not on a lease or anything like that. Vonage is one of the only carriers that still does that. Some of the free phones that they offer are actually behind me, sitting on this shelf. So, in summary, Vonage Business has the best industry pricing currently at the time of this video in comparison to carriers of like caliber. The system is super easy to set up. Very, very user-friendly interface. I've had people of all different ages and all different business types and all different levels of tech savvy or non-tech savvy set up their system on their own within mere hours or an hour over a weekend or over a night. So very easy system to set up. They have a very quick onboarding process. Obviously, it depends on the size of your company, but most businesses, even though I do work with companies with hundreds of extensions that are entertaining or interested in Vonage, the average business that I work with on a daily basis has maybe 1 to 10 users. Those persons are usually completely set up and everything within I would say within a day, within a matter of hours, 1 to 2 days or something like that, assuming that they have their phones and assuming that, they've got their account active and stuff. A day, 2 days tops set up. You can port your numbers. I've never really not ever seen Vonage not be able to port any numbers from anywhere into the system. Just know that if you run into problems, sometimes it can be a little bit of a hassle dealing with Vonage's customer care to get them whatever information they need to finish your number port. If any snags come up or if your carrier says they require, your losing carrier, as we call it, the carrier that your number is being ported from, says that they require more information to authorize the port. Sometimes Vonage will kind of feed you to the wolves, so to speak, and make you go get that information. And I wish personally that they would lend a bit more of a helping hand to the client to get the ports, to kind of give a little bit more red carpet service or white glove service to the client in making the port a little bit more seamless and a little bit more hassle-free. Another thing I wanted to throw out there is Vonage is one of the only carriers as well that will grandfather you in on their pricing for the life of your account. For example, at the time of this video, you can't get this direct if you call Vonage direct. This is a Prince special right here that we're talking about. At the time of this video, I'm able to get people Vonage Business extensions for $14.99 per month. 6 months from now or 6 years from now, if you still have that same active Vonage account and you needed to add 6 people or 10 people or 20 more extensions, you would still be grandfathered in at that price with Vonage Business. They're one of the few carriers that does that. At the time of this video, when I first started selling Vonage way back when and got Vonage for our company, I got dealer pricing. Their regular pricing was $29.99 per month. I got dealer pricing of $19.99 per month per extension. If I went and picked up the phone right now and called Vonage and said, hey, I need to bring on 2 new employees, I would still get dealer pricing of $19.99 per month through Vonage. Oh, let me cut Alexa off there. So anyways, she's like, shut up, Alexa. So anywho, if you're watching this video and you're interested in Vonage Business, I can get you better pricing than if you go Vonage Direct. I do it for people all day, every day, Monday through Sunday. If you're watching this, give me a shout. I can not only work you up a quote with special pricing, I can also coordinate a demo if you'd like to see the platform and like to actually be on a demo with me and an engineer or salesperson at Vonage and ask questions, see if the platform really works for you. We think it's a great platform. It's one of the top selling voice over IP providers day in, day out when people contact me looking for a carrier that fits their business needs, feature, and budget. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel. Prince Rich with Rich Technology Group, your go-to guy for the best deals on business phone and internet service in the United States. I'll talk to you guys again in the next video.